All right, let's dive into something really fascinating today. We're going to be deconstructing a short but, wow, incredibly powerful poem by Zeynep Karaca. It's called My Men, and it takes us on this wild journey through power and labor, fear and love, all packed into just a handful of lines. So let's get right into it. So right out of the gate, bam, we're hit with this immediate kind of jarring contradiction. On the one hand, she says she's an object of hate, right? Something to be despised. But then, in the very next breath, she's the object of this creepy, invasive desire. From the very first lines, we're staring at two totally extreme, opposing reactions from men. And that immediately makes you ask the central question that's going to guide us through this whole explainer. Who is this woman? It seems like her entire identity is being defined by the men around her, but in ways that just don't seem to add up. So let's try to unravel this puzzle, one piece at a time.
Okay, so to really get what's going on here, there's one key idea we need to have in our back pocket: paradox. The whole poem is basically built on these statements that seem to completely contradict each other. But when you look at them together, they actually reveal a much deeper, more complex truth about her experience. Just keep that idea of a paradox in mind as we go. So, the first side of this woman we meet, it's all about power, immense power and control. The speaker here isn't just passively sitting there being looked at. No, she's an active, commanding force in her own right. And see what she did there? The language just flipped. She isn't just someone men react to, she's someone who makes them act. This image of bringing men to their knees, that's a classic symbol of absolute dominance, of total submission.
But, this kind of power isn't all sunshine and roses. It has a much darker side. She also makes her men despise her. It's like her control is so complete that she can even command their negative emotions. This isn't a power that's looking for affection. It almost seems to feed on their resentment. This next line gets really intense. It reveals this almost parasitic nature of her power. The language is so visceral, so consuming, it kind of implies she's drawing life or energy from them, leaving them completely drained. It's a really powerful, almost scary image. So, to wrap up this first part, what have we got? Her power isn't simple. It's not benevolent. It's a two-sided coin. On one side, it's commanding and puts her squarely in control. But on the other, it's destructive. It creates hatred and consumes the very people she has influence over. Okay, so just when you think you've got her pegged as this destructive force, the poem completely changes gears. Suddenly, she's not a destroyer. She's a creator, a nurturer. But, and this is a big but, it's for a very specific and ultimately thankless purpose. It's like she has this three-step program. She takes these men and she transforms them. First, she makes them grow up. Then she prepares them to settle down, and she even gets them looking good. But look at that crucial detail. It's all for other women. Think about the words she uses here. Raises her men, dresses up her men. It sounds like a mother or a mentor or a caregiver. She pours all this energy into making them into ideal partners, but never for herself. She's the training ground, not the finish line. And this next line, man, it just perfectly sums up the heartbreaking sacrifice in all this. Her very self, her effort, her influence is the reason they ultimately leave. She makes them better, and because they're better, they can move on to someone else. She's the process, but she's never the result. All right, so you think you understand her now, right? Powerful, but also self-sacrificing. Well, get ready because the poem is about to pull the rug out from under us. That sense of power and labor, it's about to be replaced by a new, all-consuming emotion: fear. Look at this contrast. It's just wow. This is the central puzzle of the whole poem right here. How can the same woman who literally brings men to their knees also be the one who is terrified of their love? It's a complete 180 from the person we met at the beginning. So let's break that down. Why would you be afraid of love? Well, maybe love brings a kind of vulnerability she can't control. Or maybe their love is just as dangerous and all-consuming as the hate and the obsession she talked about earlier. Maybe it's not some gentle, kind affection. It's something to be genuinely afraid of. And it gets even more complicated when she uses the word beloveds. This isn't just a general fear of men anymore. This is a specific fear of the people she actually cares about, the ones she herself feels affection for. The threat isn't coming from the outside, it's intimate. It's coming from the very people she's invested so much in. So what does this all mean? It means that dominant, commanding woman from the first few lines, she's gone. Her identity has been totally rewritten. She's no longer defined by what she does to her men, but by the fear they now create in her. So here we are at the end, where all these crazy, conflicting feelings, power, sacrifice, fear, they all come together into one final, incredibly complicated statement about love and what it means to be connected to someone. And this might just be the most tragic line in the entire poem. After everything, all her influence, all her labor, all that intimacy, she reveals this deep, profound sense of isolation. They might know her power, they've certainly benefited from her care, they even inspire fear in her, but they don't actually know her. She's fundamentally invisible to them. Which sets up the ultimate puzzle, the final paradox of the poem. How can you declare your love for people who don't even know who you are? Putting these two statements side by side really challenges our whole definition of what love can be. You see, that last line, I love my men hand in hand, it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't give us a neat little answer. Instead, it just embraces all the contradictions. That phrase, hand in hand, suggests everything exists together at the same time. She loves them right alongside the hate, the power, the labor, the fear, and the loneliness. Her love isn't one thing. It's a complicated state that holds all of these truths at once. And that's where the poem leaves us. It doesn't wrap things up with a tidy bow. Instead, we're left with this huge question just hanging in the air, something for us to really chew on. It makes you think about the real nature of love and power and what it means to be truly seen in a relationship. What does it mean to give so much of yourself to people who can never really see the person behind it all?